The White House press secretary for the Trump administration is Karoline Leavitt. We've heard from her before, and one of the new things that's going on is she is occasionally holding MAGA influencer briefings completely separate from the primary press briefings. But sometimes they will allow a new media correspondent into the big boy and big girl press briefing room. This time, it was a guy from the conspiracy site Zero Hedge named Liam Cosgrove, who, by the way, has invited me to stuff he's organized before. David, it's Liam. Do you want to debate this person? Do you want to debate that person? Of course, I've politely declined those invitations. We learn here as Karoline Leavitt smirks about a completely bonkers Clinton body count conspiracy theory related to Jeffrey Epstein and a whole bunch of other stuff. Karoline Leavitt smirks as this conspiracy theorist asks the question. Leavitt's job is entertainment. It's not news. She's extraordinarily focused here, not only on the sort of visual presentation she provides, but on entertainment. And it is a humiliation that this is now part of a press briefing. Listen, I've heard conspiracy theories before. This is something else.
So over the weekend, President Trump posted Truth Social a video highlighting what most people call the Clinton body count, which is the strange
and look at that smirk.
Number of suicides that seem to happen in Clinton circles. I have a headline here from the Washington Post that said, Trump peddles false conspiracy theories tying the Clintons to several deaths. So I just wanted to highlight real quick, this wasn't in Trump's video, but this is from the Arkansas Times. And it's the death of Mark Middleton, who was a former Clinton White House aide, who was found dead on a Clinton Foundation property. And I'll just quote from the Arkansas Times. Middleton apparently shot himself in the chest with a shotgun and also hung himself from a tree with an extension cord. So I have no idea how somebody commits suicide that way, but if the Washington Post is here, maybe you can enlighten us as to how that was actually a suicide. So anyways, that's just a lead into my question about the most famous Clinton-related suicide, which is that of Jeffrey Epstein. There's still a lot of questions around that case. You've released phase one of the Epstein files. What was missing from that is any connection to his ties to intelligence agencies, and that's really the whole story, that not just trafficking young girls, but doing it on behalf of intelligence agencies, and even potentially as part of a blackmail ring with potential ties to the Israeli government. So,
did you guys even catch that? The real story of the Epstein case is that he was trafficking young girls, but it was because intelligence agencies were having him do it. And it might also involve the Israeli government. That is a doozy. And also the Clintons killed a lot of people.
For phase two, when can we expect it? Will it have information pertaining to those aspects of the Epstein case?
I know the Attorney General has committed to releasing those files. I would defer you to the Department of Justice on her timeline, but when she has made a promise in the past, she has kept it, and I'm certain that she will in this case as well.
Oh, this is part of an official press briefing right now. What a debasement of this. What is happening in this country? Karoline Leavitt was asked, is Trump okay adding to the deficit with this tax bill? Every serious economist and scoring agency has looked at it and said, this is going to blow up the deficit like Trump always does. And Leavitt just goes, it's not going to add to the deficit.
Just a quick follow-up. Is the president okay with this bill adding to the deficit?
This bill does not add to the deficit. In fact, according to the Council of Economic Advisors, this bill will save $1.6 trillion.
Now remember, she's playing a game here. A bill can save $1.6 trillion in one bucket and then cost $3 trillion in another bucket. So you've got to subtract it and you say, okay, well, it still adds 1.4 trillion to the deficit, right? I could say to you, hey, I found some savings. We're no longer getting those sumo oranges. God, those are delicious. We're out of season now. I went the other day. I looked everywhere. I couldn't fit. They're done. Okay, let's go back. I found savings. No more sumo oranges. So we're saving. Right. But if you replace that spending with twice as much on the golden kiwis, which I highly recommend, you found savings, but you found more spending. And every serious analysis finds that this Trump tax bill, if passed in its latest iteration, would significantly increase the debt. Karoline Leavitt says that everybody who calls the plane being gifted to Trump a personal gift is wrong, even though, of course, after Trump leaves office, it goes to Trump's presidential library. But she's big mad because people need to correct their stories.
Very clear. The government of Qatar, the Qatari family, has offered to donate this plane to the United States Air Force, where that donation will be accepted according to all legal and ethical obligations. It will be retrofitted to the highest of standards by the Department of Defense and the United States Air Force. This plane is not a personal donation or a gift to the President of the United States. And everyone who wrote that last week should go and correct their stories, because this is a donation to our country and to the United States Air Force. As for a timeline, because it is the United States Air Force that is accepting the plane, I would defer you to them for specifics, because the president, frankly, has nothing to do with it. It's the Air Force's project.
Yeah. Of course, not denying that the plane goes to Trump's Library Foundation after he leaves office. Yesterday, we discussed Trump's thinly veiled threat at Walmart, where he said, Walmart, you'd better eat the tariffs. Don't raise your prices because of the tariffs. I'm going to be watching you. A very clear threat. Karoline Leavitt asked, what did you mean? What did Trump mean by that? Here's what she said.
The president is committed to ensuring that prices remain low for American consumers, and he maintains the position that foreign countries will absorb these tariffs.
What does he mean by I'll be watching to Walmart?
He'll be watching, seeing what they're doing. Jennifer.
That's all. He's just going to watch, like a case study. That's all. Next question is about Trump's physical health. Karoline Leavitt says he's just so healthy.
Follow up on former President Biden. White House doctors may have missed the early stages of his prostate cancer. So is President Trump worried about the quality of care that presidents get here?
Not as far as President Trump is concerned. The White House physician we have here is phenomenal, and the team of physicians that take care of the president, particularly at Walter Reed Medical Center, are great. The president had his physical recently, as you know. He had perfect results. He's in very good shape. I think
perfect.
Those of you who traveled to the Middle East with us last week can attest to the president's endurance. And by the way, I will add, we returned home from a very long and tiring trip last week. And on Saturday, where was the president? In the Oval Office working all day. He doesn't stop. He doesn't quit. He's in great health, and he trusts his physicians.
Healthiest president ever. And then finally, Trump also recently taking out his anger on Taylor Swift, saying Taylor Swift is no longer hot. What did Trump mean by that?
The last one. What does President Trump mean when he says that Taylor Swift is no longer hot?
Look, he is speaking about Taylor Swift's political views and how perhaps it has impacted the support of the American public for her work, and I will leave it at that.
There you go. It has nothing to do with whether Trump is attracted to Taylor Swift. Peter Doocy, get your mind out of the gutter. Another failed and completely humiliating press briefing. These are now of zero value in communicating anything of substance to the American people. If you or someone you love is on Medicare, this is important. The Department of Justice filed a major fraud complaint against 3 of the biggest Medicare brokers in the country. These brokers pretended to offer unbiased advice while secretly steering seniors into plans that paid them the greatest kickbacks. This is why I recommend Chapter. After seeing their own families get scammed, they created a better way. Chapter's fully independent and the only national Medicare advisor that searches every plan available to find the one that actually fits your needs. They advocate for you, not the insurance companies. No steering, no pressure, just expert help completely free. Chapter has saved the average senior over $1,000 a year, and they are a free resource for my audience. So if you want help with Medicare, give Chapter a call by dialing pound 250 and saying the keyword Medicare. You'll talk to a real person who will help you figure out exactly which plan is right for you. Or go to askchapter.org/Pacman. The link is in the description.